What is going on, guys? It's Miner My FM here, and first of all, welcome to the channel if you are new here, and welcome back if you are already subscribed. If you are new to the channel and you enjoy FM content covering topics such as tactics, like this one, Wonder Kids, and some Let's Play content as well, then please do consider subscribing to the channel and ringing that bell for me so that you don't miss any future content that I'm going to be sharing with you guys throughout the FM21 cycle. In today's video, we will be taking our first look at the tweaked version of an old favourite of mine, the FM20 back attack tactic, and we're going to test it on the revamped match engine to see how it gets on. Now, I did notice a few things about the tactic during the beta, so that's why I've made the tweaks that I will come on to discuss a bit later on in the video. So ever since the FM21 beta came out, I did have a few people in the community contacting me to basically see if I'll be bringing the back attack tactic to FM21 at all, and so I thought this would be a great opportunity to tweak it, test it, and work out whether it can still be effective on this year's game. So without further ado, let's get straight into the video, guys, and yeah, let's take a look. So firstly, the team that we're going to use for this particular tactic test and simulation is going to be Liverpool. Now that's because on FM20 I previously tested this tactic with smaller teams with a lower calibre of player available to them at the start of the game, teams such as Le Havre over in the French second tier. Now the results were really good with all those simulations and all of those saves that I played out, but it did leave one question unanswered, and that is, how will the back attack perform when you're managing a huge club where success is expected from day one? I guess we're going to see now, guys. So if you are familiar with the back attack from last year, this kind of tactical setup will look relatively familiar to you. I have made a few tweaks, but we will come on to those in a little while. Now, if you're completely new to the tactic, then it is worth mentioning that this is a high intensity gegenpress. And basically what we're trying to do is stifle the opposition of meaningful attacks by turning the ball over as soon as we lose it. So there is a bit of a twist to the system. We've got some standard roles in here. So for example, the sweeper keeper and ball playing defenders, you'd expect that with this type of system. We need the keeper to act as another defender basically when the ball goes in behind us, because a lot of the time, because we are stifling attacks, a lot of the time teams will only be able to break us down by knocking the ball in behind early doors with willing runners going in behind our defence. So the keeper needs to be quick off his line, acting as another defender and recycling possession for us. Obviously our ball playing defenders need to be comfortable in possession to play out of the back, and essentially the half back is going to be our pivot player. And I think Fabinho, for example, at Liverpool is a very good example of the half-back player. And you know, he'll act as a third centre-back when we are out of possession. He'll drop nice and deep and look to prevent counter-attacks, etc. But when we are in possession, he will carry the ball into the midfield area and then distribute from there, either to our wing-backs in advanced positions, or he'll pass the ball on to one of our deep-lying or advanced playmakers, who again, essentially these guys are in the team just to move the ball around, keep us ticking over, move it side to side, stretch the opposition, and work an opening really in the wide areas for a 2v1, or pick a killer ball to one of our front three. Speaking about the front three now, if you are familiar with the tactic from last year, you will notice there's a significant change here, as previously we went with inside forwards on both sides on attack duty, but whilst playing the beta this year, I kind of realised that inside forwards aren't really where it's at this year. It doesn't appear to be that way anyway, and so I thought I'd go with two shadow strikers, just playing off of a deep line forward. So essentially when the ball goes forward, our deep line forward will drop in and essentially not necessarily hold the ball up, but he will look to link the play, and the shadow strikers will look to get into the channels and beyond the deep line forward to cause the opposition defence a lot of problems. And I think obviously Liverpool have got the perfect players for this system to work, in terms of Firmino in the deep line forward role, and then you've got the pace and power of Sadio Mane and Mohamed Salah in the shadow striker positions. So let's take a look at the instructions really to see what we can expect from this tactic. Now, in terms of when we have the ball, we're going to attack with some width. We're going to overlap down both sides with marauding wing backs looking to create a lot for us. We're going to knock the ball into space where we can to utilise the pace of our shadow strikers and our wing backs to some extent. If they get a 2v1 situation down these sides, we're going to play out of the back because we have the calibre of player to do so. We're going to play with an extremely high tempo. In terms of distributing the ball, again, we're going to be quite direct with our passing. As I mentioned before, we do need to knock it into space for our pacey players to run into. We're going to be more expressive. And another tweak from last year, we are going to focus on delivering low crosses into the box. And basically, I've tweaked that because heading doesn't seem to be quite as effective on this year's game, from what I've experienced anyway on the beta. But also, our front line aren't exactly the tallest or the best in the air. So low crosses, I think, is where it's going to be at for this particular tactic and simulation. In transition, pretty self-explanatory if you're familiar with a gegenpress. We're going to counter press when we lose the ball, win it back as quick as we can, and keep the opposition penned in. When we do win the ball, we're going to counter straight away, so no chance for the opposition defenders to catch their breath or get their shape. We are going to go right at the heart of them and look to basically minimise the time that we spend between defence and attack, and basically reduce the time it takes us to create a really good quality goal scoring opportunity. When our keeper receives the ball, he's going to distribute the ball quickly and to our playmaker, whether that be players like Fabinho in the half-back role or the midfield duo in terms of our playmakers, and they're going to look to move the ball to our more attacking and more dangerous players in the final third. Out of possession, again, another couple of tweaks here from last year, guys. We are going to drop our line of engagement to higher rather than extremely high. And we are going to drop our defensive line a little bit deeper as well to match that, basically. We were a little bit high, I think, before now. So, yeah, we're going to see how the slightly deeper defensive line goes. We are still high and we are still using the offside trap, but it's maybe a little bit less brutal in terms of our defenders aren't quite on the halfway line. So it's a bit more difficult really for low block direct teams to knock the ball with one pass basically in behind us and get us turning and facing our own goal again. We are going to mark tightly to prevent runners from being able to get in behind us where possible. We're going to press the ball with a lot of intensity and very urgently and try and prevent their keeper from building attacks from the back. We basically want them to not necessarily panic, but go for a bit more direct approach where we can then have a 50-50 opportunity to turn the ball over quickly rather than allowing them to come out with the ball. So now that we know what to expect from the tactic in a general sense, I'll just mention a few things that I'm going to be keeping an eye out for after we've run the simulation to see if the tactic has been a success. Now, first of all, the tactic is called the back attack for a reason. We are looking for our wing backs to hit double figures assists in the league, guys. They are our creative hub basically. Obviously it's a bit unconventional because a lot of teams get their creativity from their midfield. That's kind of what we know in the world of football, but in recent years obviously several managers have had success with their systems that rely on their wing backs having more of a key role really in the team. Another emphasis on sort of where we're looking to thrive with this tactic really is the halfback. So we're looking for whoever plays halfback for us. I imagine it's going to be Fabinho when we sim the season, but we're looking for him to complete a lot of tackles, a lot of passes, and really just be that pivot player for us and swing momentum in our favour basically in the transition situations. Not expecting too much from our midfield guys. Again, they're just here to spray the ball left and right, stretch the opposition, stretch the pitch, and look for opportunities really to create 2v1 situations. I'm hoping if this tactic works correctly, our deep line forward should end up with a decent amount of goals, but probably more assists than goals, and our shadow strikers will hopefully come up with the goods in terms of the goal return. So I think I've spoken a lot about the tactic and the sort of the thought process behind it. So now that I've shared that with you guys, we will hit that go on holiday button and we're going to sim a season and see how we get on and break down the results together afterwards. So yeah, stay with me guys. Cheers. Welcome back, guys. Thanks a lot for sticking with me. Now, hopefully you're all anticipating the results of the simulation. I know I am. So let's get straight into having a look at the competition's overview screen. So firstly, we can notice here that we did win the league. We did win the league with 92 points, which is a fair return, I would say. Winning the league by 11 points is never a bad thing. Obviously, City coming in second place with 81 points. Very good goal difference for us as well. 65 positive goal difference. Salah getting 31 goals for us in a season, which is not bad, considering it's not exactly a system that's set up for one main man to bring in all the goals for us. Champions League then, not too disappointing. We went fairly deep. Semi-final, knocked out by Inter Milan. You'd like to think if you were playing the save yourself, these games where you maybe lost narrowly, you could have made a difference, sort of tweaking it in game and whatnot. But this is a simulation, so let's just take it at face value. Slightly disappointing to not maybe get to the final of the Champions League with the squad that Liverpool have, but semi-finals not to be sniffed at. Obviously better than Liverpool did last year when they actually won the title. Obviously going out to Atletico, obviously in very strange circumstances though. Now, FA Cup, knocked out in the quarter-final by Man United. Not too happy with that. Obviously, quarter-final is, it's no embarrassment, but again, would have liked to have seen the team to go deeper in that. Carabao Cup, not too fussed about this, to be honest, but knocked out by Bournemouth. I imagine we rotated in that game. We won the Community Shield as well, opening game of the season. Pretty much a friendly game, but, nice to win a trophy at the end of it. So let's get into the Premier League season in a bit more detail then. That's obviously what we're all here to see. So obviously, like I said, won the league, 92 points, positive goal difference of 65, which is pretty good indeed. Only losing 2 games all season, not too bad. Quite a high number of draws, but seems to be, in keeping with the other teams in the division. But obviously 28 games won, I think, according to my maths, that's roughly a 74-75% win ratio, which isn't to be sniffed at. And it's a good return. Obviously Salah, top goal scorer in the division with 31. No one getting anywhere near him on that front. In terms of assists, we did say that we're looking for our fullbacks to get a decent number of assists. Andy Robertson doing pretty well there with 10 in the league alone, which is pretty decent. Might have, seen a few more from him potentially. And Trent down there with 8, again, not too bad, but maybe some tactical tweaks will see them sort of have an even greater influence on the game, really. So just a quick overview of the basic team stats then, before we get into the sort of more detailed stuff. So obviously 38 games played, we scored 97 goals, which is, it's pretty decent. What's that? So according to my maths, 97 goals, that's what, 2.5-ish a game? Not too shabby indeed. In terms of points per game, obviously we brought home the 92 points, so that's probably about 2.4-ish per game, with, like I said, about 74 or 75% win ratio. Goals conceded 32, obviously less than a goal a game, but not the best or second best in the division, so obviously the defence could have maybe performed a little bit better for us last season. Let's look at the more detailed team stats then. So possession, not one we're particularly concerned with. 50% is decent for a team that plays on the break, I suppose. We're not obsessed with having too much possession. There we go, look, points per game, 2.42. Best in the division. Goals, 97, way more than anyone else in the division. Not bad at all. Goals per game, 2.55. Again, blowing everyone out of the water, guys. We are, the most prolific team in the division by a long stretch. Expected goals for, again, way more than anyone else. So creating more high quality opportunities than any other team in the division, which is great to see. Pass completion, we do go a bit more direct, yes, so we're not going to be up there in terms of pass completion. We don't retain possession as well as other teams deploying more possession-based tactics do. So 89% still isn't bad for a team that goes slightly more direct. Clear-cut chances created. Okay, we're joint third with 29. Shots on target, most in the division. Very good. Conversion rate, that's important. There we go, guys. Look, prolific. I mean, 609 shots as well. So not only did we have the best conversion rate, but we actually took the most shots, I'm going to say. Yeah, the most shots, I think, out of any team in the division. So to have that conversion rate is good. Tackles won ratio, that's good. 86%. So that means obviously players like Fabinho, Van Dijk, etc. were winning a lot of the tackles they went in for, which is good, because obviously if a team is counter-attacking you, the best idea really is to nip it in the bud, so that you can, you counter press and then you're back on the attack. So you're going to see players like Fabinho in the halfback role flying into tackles, and the fact they're winning a lot of them is good, because if they miss that tackle, then we're exposed defensively. So that's very important and a good stat to see. Yeah, let me know in the comments, guys, what you think about the return on this tactic. It's slightly tweaked on last year, and I'm relatively happy with the results. I think with a bit of fine tuning, this tactic could be an absolute force this year. Maybe some tweaks to the defensive line, maybe some tweaks to the wing-back positions in terms of player instructions, maybe get them more involved than they were. But yeah, the fact we scored so many goals and didn't have assist leaders, several of them up there in the stats, that leads me to believe that we scored a lot of goals from just individual brilliance, really. So players scoring not off an assist, so driving at the heart of defenders, etc. So that's interesting to see. Obviously, one to mention here is Salah, 41 goals in all comps. Not bad. So Trent picked up a fair number of assists as well in all competitions, but only got 8 in the league. That's interesting. So there we have it then, guys. The first real look at the sort of tweaked and revamped back attack tactic for FM21. I'd say it's been a success, although I am considering a few tweaks here and there. And I'm very keen to see how it performs in a regular save that isn't simulated, because I feel that a fair few games can be won and lost based on reactive tweaks in game, and also just human decision making in terms of rotation of players in competitions and whatnot. So I am hoping for even better results in my own FM21 saves. But yeah, let me know in the comments if this is a tactic that you would like to experiment with yourself. If so, I can certainly make it available to you if you do get in touch in a comment section down below. Feel free to leave me your thoughts and feedback on both the tactic and the video itself. And suggest any tweaks or improvements that you'd make. I'm always looking to improve both my content and the tactic itself. If you have enjoyed today's video though, guys, go ahead and smash that like button down below for me. It really helps get the content in front of more people as part of the YouTube algorithm. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you are new here, and do ring that bell so that you are notified when I release further content, and there'll be a lot of it throughout the FM21 cycle. Until next time though, guys, take care of yourselves, enjoy the full version of the game now that it is available to us.